Good morning. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Medical Classes by Dr. Srinidhi Kumar Acharya. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also please keep your valuable comments. You can also visit the playlist. In the playlist, I have provided almost all the topics in a very systematic order. I hope this is very convenient for the study and I also hope you will make use of it. My dear friends, we have been discussing about adolescence care. In the first part, we have seen there were the concepts, then we have seen the burden of this particular problem, then we have seen some of the eating problems, then since last 2 or 3 classes we are discussing about adolescence nutrition. Now, today we shall see one of the very important aspects related to adolescence nutrition, especially in the girls, also in the boys, but not so common, that is anemia. Anemia in adolescence. Now, talking about anemia during adolescence period, it is iron deficiency anemia, which is very common. Now, anemia, when it is there, it will cause almost all a systemic problem. That means it has got its impact in almost all many systems like neurological, muscular, etc. Now, so when there is anemia means especially when you talk about iron deficiency anemia, which is very common in adolescence period. So it leads to decreased oxygen supply to the cells, isn't it? Comparatively, relatively, there is less oxygen supplies to the cell. That means when oxygen is not received by the cell, all the metabolic activities of the cell will be hampered, irrespective of a nerve cell, muscle cell, or whatever, and therefore we'll get multi-dimensional symptoms will be seen. And many times anemia is the single most important cause for many challenging problems. Now, reduced anemia basically leads to reduced ability to exercise and also impaired cognitive properties. Now, anorexia will be there, okay, loss of appetite will be there, and loss of interest will be there, irritability will be there, easy fatigability will be there, okay, loss of concentration will be there. So these are all the multifaceted symptoms related to anemia. The cause is simple anemia, but it has got a wide range of symptomatology. So now, especially failure to concentrate and inability loss of memory will be there. This will be a big problem in the adolescence period. Failure to concentrate and there will be irritability and also loss of memory. Now, behavioral and mental health problems will be there because of anemia. Okay. So anemia may lead to certain behavioral problems also, is irritability, personality changes, etc. And mental health problems will be also there. So substance abuse, depression, and suicide and violence and injuries. These are the other part of the anemia. So when anemia leads to behavioral and mental health problem, in a further course of the time, it may lead to some subacute. That means it's not subacute. It's substance abuse or some depression and suicidal attempts, violence and injuries. So these are all quite common. So girls need more iron. We know that iron deficiency anemia is most common in adolescents. So girls need more and more iron. So daily intake of the iron should be 9.4 milligrams per day, and 41% will have the below the adequate intake. And this is the fact. Okay, daily intake we need about 9.4 milligrams per day, and 41% will have the below. 41% below, 41% adolescents will have percentage below in this particular adequate intake. About 13 milligram is required for the girls in a day, and about 11 milligrams per day is required for the boys. Now, burden of the issue among the adolescent girls in India is more because this is common in girls. Overall anemic is 98%. In that, mild anemic adolescents are 22%, moderate 49%, and severe is 27%. This is the data 2002 to 2004 data. Severe anemia is high among the married girls because of various reasons, and the rural and urban disparity is negligible. Rural and urban disparity is negligible. So increase in the education reduces the severity of the anemia. So when adolescents education you are able to give in the society, especially adolescent society, so then the severity of the anemia may be decreased. So sick adolescents, these are the reports, sick adolescents will have higher prevalence and Chhattisgarh has got the highest prevalence state. So these are all the reports that I'm telling, data which is available. Iron deficiency anemia is one of the major nutritional problem observed among the teenagers or in the adolescence period. Smoking, tobacco and alcohol should be completely avoided because this is a major triggering factor. Adolescent girls are at high risk, increased risk, the muscle mass development and the menarche. That means the muscle mass development is more, and because of the menarche, the some amount of the blood will be lost every month. So that therefore adolescent girls will have more prevalence. So boys muscle mass development is there, which increases the requirement of the iron. In the girls, what happens? Muscle mass development is also there, and as well as there is menarche is also there. Therefore, high risk. But in boys, only muscle mass development will be there. So iron is vital for the transportation of the oxygen, as we know. Hemoglobin synthesis, for this also it is very important, by rapid growth and expansion of the blood volume, and for the myoglobin needed for the muscle mass. So we are talking about the increase in the muscle mass. So in the muscles also there will be a type of hemoglobin will be present, that is called myoglobin. Okay, so that will be present in the muscles. Okay, when the muscle mass increasing, its requirement also increases. As far as hemoglobin is concerned, yes, it is related, it is very important for all the bodily activities, and growth and development is taking at a rapid phase, and therefore each cell need a good amount of oxygen along with the glucose and all. But unfortunately in iron deficiency anemia, if you are not able to transport good amount of the oxygen, so definitely it hampers the growth and development. Therefore growth and development failure to thrive is also one of the important symptom of chronic anemia, especially in adolescence. Now, anemia of the adolescence period also affects the future pregnancy. In the future pregnancy also this has got its bad effects. Anemia affects anemia of adolescence. Okay, so anemia affects the entire lifespan of the girl and the future generation also. Pregnancy induced anemia, pregnancy anemias are also very common, which leads to problems for the future child. Okay, adolescence anemia leads to the problem in the anemia in pregnancy in the girl. So WHO says hemoglobin less than 12 gram deciliter is anemia. However, in India the range is 10 to 11 grams. Okay, so WHO standard says anything less than 12 is anemia. But if you look in anemia in India, okay, you can take average at 10. Anything below 10 should be considered as anemia in Indian perspectives. Now, adolescence nutrition, especially the anemia now. Vitamin C is very important for the formation of the hemoglobin, iron absorption, etc. We know that. So deficiency of the vitamin C is also one of the major factor. Tea and coffee contains the polyphenols, and which prevents the absorption of the iron. So adolescents consuming more amount of the chai, coffee, etc. So that is also one of the cause, because it prevents the absorption of the iron. Poor iron stores from the infancy and childhood and the adolescence period. Suppose from the childhood period itself, infantil period itself, the iron store is very poor. So definitely it has got its effects in the adolescence period also. Sometimes the adolescents may be taking the food which contains, or diet which is containing low dietary iron. That means the food which contains iron, it is very low bioavailable. It is not much bioavailable. So that may be also one of the cause for the anemia. Now talking about teenage pregnancy leads to increased demand of iron due to the tissue, blood and energy requirement, because fetus is growing inside. So that also needs the blood, vitamin C, etc. everything. So the demand will be more. Okay. So if the pregnancy occurs in the teenage period, then there will be a high risk of anemia for the mother, teenage mother. Okay. And there is also a high risk of postpartum hemorrhage. Now, iron loss due to parasite load, worm infestations and the malaria-like conditions is very, very common, because malaria we know that it develops in RBC will be destroyed, and sometimes some other parasite like roundworm, hookworm, etc. they also suck the blood. Suppose if such conditions are there in adolescents, definitely that also leads to increased iron loss, and it also predisposes the conditions of anemia in both the sexes. Now certain social factors are also very important. Society with the more care to the male child, support disparity in the society is there. They are giving more care to the male child but less care to the female child. Female is the one who is more prevalent for this anemia. So if this disparity is existing in the society, that may be also one of the cause. The mindset of the parents is also very important. Sometimes the mindset of the parents will be, why should we take care of our daughter anyway? She will go into another house after marriage. So like this type of mindset will be there, which is very very dangerous, and that may also lead to anemic like conditions. Now, unstiffened dairy products intake is also one of the major cause. In underprivileged girls leads to poor intake of the protein and calcium, resulting in low bone mineral density. Undernutrition often delays the onset of the puberty. We know that because nutrition is very important for everything, and often it delays the onset of the puberty also. One of the major causes is undernutrition. And when adolescence is delayed, then there will be sexual maturation will be also delayed. Okay, so that result in stunting. Okay, poor bone mass and reduced work capacity. Okay, now anemia in adolescents, as for the NHFC data 3 reports that there is National Family Health Survey NHFC. Girls will anemia, the percentage is about 55.8%, and boys anemia is 56.1%. See, boys are little more affected here according to this particular data. Now there are certain cultural and environmental factors are also there which is responsible for anemia in adolescence. For example, teenage marriage, as we have discussed, a lack of empowerment to make the reproductive choices, then pregnancy and lack of spacing, then change in the food habits, social stigma towards the IFA, iron and folic acid, and family planning leading to low compliance, change in the agricultural pattern, and lack of hygiene and sanitation leading to urinary tract infection and worm infestation. So these are some of the cultural and environmental factors which may also responsible for adolescence anemia. Not only adolescence, in any type of anemia. Now if you look into certain economical factors, poverty, child labor, migration, lack of social security, no separate provision for PDS benefit, public distribution system. So this is some of the economical factors which leads to anemia. Poverty is one of the important issue. Okay, although we claim that poverty is coming down, but still the poverty is an important issue. It depends on many factors. Suppose poverty may not be a big problem in a even in a what do you say low income family if you have got only 1 or 2 kids, but poverty may be a bigger issue. But suppose if you have got 8 9 10 kids, okay, so this is relatable. Now when the parents are not able to fulfill the basic needs of the family, how can they think about the nutritional issues, isn't it? So that same is happening when there are more kids in the home. So that means only one earning person will be there. Earning source is only one, but the kids are 8 or 9. So then it will be a problematic. This leads to stunted development and nutritional problems, and also hygiene is also get affected. Start from the fetal life. Sometime anemia start. For example, if the baby is underweight, so start with the antenatal and prenatal period itself. The anemia starts, which continues later in the childhood and also to the adolescence period. Then the childhood and the adolescence girl, it will continue. If the problem begins in the beginning itself, then it will continue throughout, just like happening in the fetal life. Now, government initiatives like Kishori Shakti Yojana, which is implemented through ICDS. ICDS means Integrated Child Developmental Service, to improve the nutrition, health and development. Government has taken sufficient care after the service report and all. So Kishori Shakti Yojana is there for only for the adolescence girl. Okay, so each ICDS will set a fund of rupees 1.10 lakhs. Okay, the spelling lakh is wrong, LAKH. So 1.10 lakhs ICDS, each unit will go into this particular fund. Now talking about the Ayurveda management of this adolescence anemia, if you talk, we have to provide as many as Amla Rasa drugs. Then certain Loha preparation can be given like Datre Lohas, etc. Jivaniya and Brahmaniya drugs should be given more to the adolescent girls. Diet which is rich in all the 6 rasas should be given, and Krimihara medications, because worm infestation is a major cause. Given green leafy vegetables should be given, Guda can be given, and encourage to take the home food and traditional food. And Viruddhaharas, or this junk food and all, stored food, junk food, fast food has to be avoided. So in the next class we will see some of the important programs launched by India to prevent this adolescence nutrition. Thank you very much.